Listen up. If you're gonna go trick-or-treating or hand out candy on Halloween, there are a few rules you have to follow. 1. Never blow out your jack-o'-lantern before midnight. 2. Always wear a costume. It doesn't matter what it is, get dressed. And 3. Hand out some damn candy. Don't be that host with the lights off and the bowl empty. Follow these rules, you'll be safe as can be. But if you break them, this Halloween might end up being your last. What's going on, horror heads? Welcome back to Fearful Features. Tonight we're talking about one of the purest celebrations of Halloween night, Trick or Treat. 5 interconnected horror stories interwoven and finally being connected by the end by Sam. A horror icon or just a cute little being with a pumpkin head? He's just there to make sure nobody's breaking the rules of Halloween. Is Trick or Treat just a stylish anthology with some pretty cool kills? Or is it the epitome of Halloween? Is it the ultimate Halloween movie? Let's talk about it. So grab your candy, light your jack-o'-lanterns, and for the love of Sam, follow the rules. But before we unwrap tonight's tale, let's take a peek behind the curtain and see what's going on in the real world of horror today, with some horror headlines. A prequel to Weapons focused on Aunt Gladys is officially in development with director Zach Cregger, confirming the story is real in early planning stages. A brand new Resident Evil movie is coming in 2026. It will tell an entirely original story set with the game universe. So it's not a remake, it's a retread. The Conjuring Last Rites just hit a new box office record and is now the biggest horror premiere of 2025 domestically. Gina Hall teases she'll reprise her role as Brenda in Scary Movie 6, with the Wayans brothers returning to helm the project. Some controversy in the world of horror: the Australian horror film Together was digitally altered in its China release. The same-sex wedding scenes was edited via AI to portray a heterosexual couple instead. It, Welcome to Derry, just dropped a trailer and has an official release date announced for late October. More Pennywise backstory incoming. Now let's roll the projectors back to 2007. Trick or Treat was written and directed by Michael Dougherty, the man who co-wrote X2 and Superman Returns. The budget was modest at about $12 million, but it feels more grand in scale because of Dougherty's clever way of weaving 5 interconnected stories into one Halloween tapestry. The cast is stacked too. We have Anna Paquin, Brian Cox, Dylan Baker, Leslie Bibb, and Quinn Lord as Sam, who instantly became a horror icon to some people. Why did this movie hit so hard with fans? Because it was telling different scary stories while also celebrating the world of Halloween night. And that's honestly something a lot of horror fans really enjoy, and it just did it so well. Dougherty basically gave us the ultimate Halloween mixtape to watch every single year.
I want to play a game.
And with that sound, speaking of mixtapes, let's see if you recognize this week's spooky sound. So I'm going to play about 7 seconds of an iconic horror theme, and you guys have to type in the comments what you think it is. No Shazam, no cheating, just use your horror instincts. You got this. And we're going to play it in 3, 2, 1. Alright, that's it. Lock in your guesses and I'll reveal the answer later on in the show. I'm excited to see if you got it right. While you're typing in your answer in the comments below, let's talk about some fear facts and behind the scenes of this movie. But first, a word from our sponsor. But do you know what's really scary? Mental health. Do you ever feel like your brain is the real haunted house? Like you're stuck in a never-ending slasher flick? But you're somehow both the final girl and the killer? Yeah, me too. But fear not, fearful fans. Today's episode is brought to you by Another Day, Stay Another, a mental health initiative that's here to remind you you're not alone. even when it feels like the walls are bleeding and your anxiety is crawling out of the TV. We get it. Talking about mental health is terrifying. But guess what? It's okay to scream. Just make sure someone hears you. That's where Another Day Stay Another comes in. Whether you're dealing with depression, stress, or just feel like the background character in your own story, this initiative is about holding on, staying grounded, and finding help when the monsters get too loud. It's a constantly growing nonprofit run by Chris Rogers daily, who is by himself, who just wants to get the message out there that it's okay to not be okay. Tomorrow will come and it's another day to make something new. T-shirts, tank tops, and hoodies are available now, and 25% of the proceeds go directly towards different organizations to help others in need.
I'm so sorry. I failed you.
The rest goes straight back into the Another Day Stay Another organization to keep the message alive and growing. So if you're like me and you feel like your mind's been trapped in a psychological horror movie lately, for me, think Hereditary but with a lot more coffee and more self-doubt. Take a breath, reach out, and remember, the final act has not been written yet, and you're the main character. It's not over yet, and neither are you. Visit anotherdaystayanother.ca to learn more, because sometimes surviving the scariest parts means just sticking around long enough to see the sunrise again, and again. That's anotherdaystayanother.ca to learn more.
No. Be afraid. Be very afraid.
The character of Sam actually started as an animated short by Dougherty himself called Season's Greetings. Same little creepy trick-or-treater, same orange PJs, just hand-drawn instead of live action. The Pumpkinhead look wasn't CGI, it was practical effects mixed with some animatronics. Dougherty insisted on using practical effects and not CGI wherever he could. Thank you. It's why Sam still looks incredible today. Brian Cox's character, Mr. Krieg, was deliberately made to look like John Carpenter. From the long hair and the scraggly beard, it's a fun nod to the master of Halloween. Sam's name? Short for Samhain, the Celtic festival that Halloween evolved from. He's literally Halloween personified. With those facts in mind, let's recap this twisted anthology. The film plays out like one long Halloween night, even though it doesn't even feel like that at first. We start with Principal Wilkins, played by Dylan Baker. By day, he's the kind of guy you wouldn't even notice, a regular suburban dad. By night, he's got a hobby straight out of your worst childhood nightmares, poisoning trick-or-treat candy. When one kid eats the wrong chocolate bar, Wilkins calmly buries his body in the backyard, right underneath his son's nose. It's dark, twisted, and strangely funny in the way only anthology horror can pull off. From there, we shift to a group of kids who head out to the old rock quarry. They're planning a cruel prank involving a local legend of a school bus massacre. A bus full of troubled kids driven off the edge years ago. But as horror tradition dictates, the prank goes sideways and the kids realize the story isn't all legend after all. The past comes back and it's not interested in being forgotten. While that's happening, across town, Laurie, played by Anna Paquin, is heading to a Halloween party with her friends. She's shy, dressed as Little Red Riding Hood, and everyone teases her for not having a date. But when a masked vampire starts stalking her, the story flips. Laurie and her friends aren't the victims at all. They're werewolves. In one of the film's most memorable sequences, they peel off their skin like costumes, revealing their true selves before devouring their prey. Honestly, one of the best scenes of the movie for me, for sure. Then there's Mr. Craig, the bitter old man played by Brian Cox. You could say he's the neighborhood crank who hates Halloween. The Ebenezer Scrooge of this universe. No decorations, no candy, just anger and alcohol. But when he breaks the rules of the holiday, Sam shows up. What follows is a tense and terrifying showdown in Craig's house, where the little pumpkin-headed enforcer makes sure justice is served. By the end, Craig learns the hard way that Halloween traditions exist for a reason. And through all of this, every scene, every kill, every different story, Sam is there watching. Sometimes in the background, sometimes he gets part of the action, but he's always there, watching, waiting, and making sure people don't fuck up the Halloween season for him. The brilliance of Trick or Treat is how everything comes together. Characters cross paths, stories overlap, and by the end you realize none of these events are isolated. They're part of a bigger story. It's one big night of karmic justice, all stitched together by Halloween night. My quick review: Halloween is more than an anthology. I'm not a giant fan of anthologies because a lot of them, they don't pull them off correctly, but this one at a tight 82 minutes is the embodiment of Halloween, as I've been saying. And just the interconnected stories and how it gets pulled together at the end is just so well done. It's funny, it's gruesome, it's beautifully shot. Every frame feels like October. And Sam? Well, I don't think he's the most fantastic horror icon next to Freddy, Jason, or Michael. I would not be upset to see a Trick or Treat 2 with him starring in it. He's cute, he's creepy, he's funny. I don't want to mess with him. Before I get into my final rating and takeaway of the film, we're going to get into first frights.
What's your favorite scary movie?
Unfortunately, I didn't get any emails as of yet. I did batch record, so that could be the reason why. Sorry about that. But this is the segment where your first horror experience gets brought to life. So please, send in your first fright story of the first horror movie you've watched, whether it made you fall in love or hate horror, whatever it was. I want to hear about it and I want to read it. Let me know in the message itself if you want to stay anonymous, or I will definitely read your name on air, whatever you wish. So send it in to fearfulfeaturespodcast@gmail.com. I'd love to feature your stories. Now let's get into the verdict. My verdict, Trick or Treat is a 5 out of 5. It's a fantastic horror film that has a lot of heart and a lot of fun. It's the definitive Halloween movie for me. It doesn't just tell scary stories, even though it does tell really good scary stories. It embodies the holiday and wraps the stories around them. The costumes, the candy, the traditions, the danger, the rules, it's all there. Absolute masterclass in what it was trying to do, and it executed it flawlessly.
I want to play a game.
Alright, time to reveal what that spooky sound was from earlier, and if you're thinking it was from Halloween, you are wrong. You're close, but you're wrong. It's actually from Halloween 3, Season of the Witch. The black sheep of the franchise that I absolutely adore. Over time, it has gotten a cult following, and I can appreciate that. But I was a fan from the start. If you got it, good job. If you didn't get it, better luck next week. Because we'll be doing this again, and again. And that's it for this week's episode of Fearful Features, guys. Thank you so much for watching. But before you vanish into the shadows, it's time for our horror homework this week. Next week, we're switching gears to something a little bit lighter, and we're going to be talking about Hocus Pocus from 1993. Yep, the Sanders sisters are taking over the show, and I am not excited. Guys, I gotta be honest, Hocus Pocus is not my cup of tea. It never has been. I'm going to apologize now. I'm not going to shit on the movie, but I'm going to explain my thoughts the best I can, so hopefully you guys aren't angry with me. So tune in next week to hear why I think Hocus Pocus is the worst film ever. No, I'm just joking, it's not. But tune in next week to hear why it's not my cup of tea. I bet you don't want to miss that one. But I'll see you guys next week, and until then, stay scared, stay safe, and I'll catch you next time with another Fearful Feature.